And so there's been another one of those celebrities hidden in plain sight that we really don't give props to, but today is his day. And I'm talking about none other than a fellow Steve Martin. Like,
Hell
if
yeah.
if you had to go through the mental Rolodex, man, could you name off some of your favorite Steve Martin flicks?
Well, you got Three Amigos. That's up there.
Fire,
You got Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Excuse me.
fire, fire,
The Jerk.
fire.
I know I'm spacing on some stuff. Uh, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's
John
it. Yeah.
Candy.
Yep.
Yeah.
That. Uh,
Roxanne.
okay. I'm that's kind of my I'm out after that, I think.
Parenthood.
I didn't care for Parenthood
Huh?
or the wedding movies. Whatever, what was that called?
The Father of the Bride.
That my parents love those movies, and I just
Oh.
that one I wasn't too big of a fan of. But still, Steve Martin's great in it. You know, it's not his fault.
I feel like 80s Steve Martin is the peak Steve Martin. Like there's a movie we're going to talk about later, which is, it was good. And then My Blue Heaven with Rick Moranis in the 90s. I think that happened in 1990. But man, 80s Steve Martin, Roxanne, Three Amigos, Little Shop of Horror.
Yeah, okay. I forgot, dude. I forgot he was in I forgot about Bowfinger.
Bowfinger.
That's
That
a
was
great
good.
movie. The Man with Two Brains. I used to love that as a kid. It's kind of a wackier movie, but it's fun. Obviously, everybody watching, yes, I am looking at IMDb now because I'm a stoner and I can't remember everything. But yeah, I mean, dude's a legend. I mean, obviously, his stand up. I think I came into it with like that first because he had a lot of like goofy stand up. Remember that Pharaoh thing he did?
The Pharaoh, the
That
arrow through the head.
yeah, like I remember that because my parents would show me that. I mean, I ate that stuff up. So that was he part of the Two Wild and Crazy Guys sketch on
It was him and Aykroyd.
yeah, that for sure, for sure. So his SNL stuff too. And also just that he has a friendship and a working relationship with Martin Short. And I feel like that's a duo that's gonna go down in history. It's just one of the greats.
That's friendship goals, man. Like,
Yeah, they're like Martin Landau or
Walter
God,
and Jack.
yeah, there you go, Steve. Stoner.
Man, we're a package deal, just like those single moms that I date. We're a package
Yeah.
deal, okay?
Marty's got to come along
Just
too.
gotta
He
bring my
needs.
bestie.
He's like a Rob Schneider, you know. He's just got to. No, he's not. He's not that.
Oh no,
But
no, no.
Steve Martin, dude, sort of a strange figure too, because he's somebody I feel like doesn't like being famous either. Like that's kind of his like thing. He
You
almost
think
has like
so?
this thing about He has a cool book called something about standing up that Kendra has, and I started reading it. A lot of stuff like conflicting feelings about I think about fame and everything. He's an interesting guy, but man, this guy was killing it in the like you said, 80s Steve Martin on top of the world.
That's yeah. It doesn't get any better than that for me. You know, he did have some in the 90s, man, but
I mean, this one that we're going to talk about today, this is a sneaky one because as a kid, I didn't dig this.
Yeah.
Leap of Faith, but as an adult, I was digging this movie, man. It's a little bit cheesy, but you know, that's part of it. But the stuff that he's doing, he's great at, man. He's actually kind of a good scumbag.
Because he was one in My Blue Heaven. And wasn't he a scumbag dentist in Little Shop of Horror?
And he was a scumbag in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I mean,
Yeah.
both those guys were, you know, but he was for sure a scumbag in that. So yeah, he's a great, like, lovable jerk off in a lot of ways, you know.
What Steve isn't?
Touche, Steve.
This is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your Ed Wood tapes and your Edward Scissorhands. And everybody dance now. Uh, 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 Everybody, come on and sweat, baby. Let the music take control. Let the rhythm move you. Sweat.
Sweat.
Oh, gotta love it, man.
Uh.
But today, my friend, we're talking all things December 18th in the 90s. Starting off in 1990, CNC Music Factory would release Gonna Make You Sweat. And man, this is how we start the 90s?
Jump to the rhythm, jump. Bam, bam, bam. Dude, my sister was banging this. I love this song. I the one song. I wasn't into the CD, but
Yeah,
CNC, dude, they get you fired up. This is you're right. Going into the new decade, this is how you want to. Flying in, jump kicking into the new decade.
it's a week before Christmas 1990. This is how we do it. We going into 91. Man, gonna make them sweat.
Give me a fucking sorry, Steve. Bleep that. We're trying not to curse. Give me some overalls that are made out of patent leather, no shirt, and some sort of weird leather cap, and I'm just gonna start dancing. That's what they were saying in the early 90s, Steve.
They figured it out.
This is very close to jock jams. You know what I mean? This is that level of music where it's getting a whole arena of people fired up just to have some fun.
And because of that, it's timeless, man. You could play this in arenas forever. I'm sure I've heard this on several commercials throughout my life. Like all this is all they need. Even if you call them a one-hit wonder, which they're not, if they just had this song and if they did their math right with the accounting and all, they should be able to live off this.
I mean, they had 2 jams on this that I feel like got licensed out the wazoo. So I agree with you. And also just the freestyle ability of the guy in this, the monotone, yo, Steve, I'm the man. I think he had a ponytail too, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about that. But the guy had a crazy look. I honestly thought they were a joke, but looking at it and now remembering it, they're not a joke, Steve. They're the fucking pace setter, and I keep cursing. I can't, I'm a potty mouth, Steve.
Yeah, man.
They're freaking awesome, Steve.
Yeah. If you could sit by me when I'm editing, man.
I am so sorry. But, I'm done now. I'm going to be very squeaky clean, Matt, after this.
But dude, the rap, if he was just a rapper and a solo, it would suck. But for this, it just works because you're not modeling, you're rapping, but you're also a part of a dance group. So you don't have to go super lyrical with this.
Yeah, you just got to spit something out so you can get to the next 4 steps, you know, and he can't be out of breath. So I know what this guy's name is, but I think his name might be Robert something, but I might be wrong about that. But that guy, he was my favorite part of it. But I feel like a couple of these songs, obviously the one that you were singing, Gonna Make You Sweat, we're gonna hear it until we're dead. Like we're gonna be 90 years old and that's gonna be on some new product commercial, you know, when we're in a nursing home.
And then also things that make you go, things that make you go,
things that make you go, That fire, dude. How many albums did they have? Was this it?
They had 2, and the second one I think came out in 94, which wasn't as highly touted.
Well, I feel like we were at a different place in music to where like this was still catching the guys doing like key bumps from the 80s.
Yeah.
They had the energy to like dance and listen to this. And I don't know when the second album came out, but we were probably onto some grunge stuff and some gangster rap music at that point. So this probably seemed a little quaint, if
Yeah.
nothing else.
Even Hammer went gangster rap. But also in 1990, EPMD would release Business as Usual. Great production. Awesome production.
I mean, early rap, but the beats on this, I feel like 14 out of 14 are fire. Whoever the producer is on this, you're an expert. Great album.
But Eric Sermon,
Is that who the producer is?
well, I think they both get credit for producing, but Eric Sermon, he was kind of the brain in this operation, man. Without taking away from Parrish Smith, Eric Sermon, he was the beat maker, and he would go on to produce other artists, man. But he doesn't get enough credit as one of the greatest '90s hip hop producers, man. But
Featured recently on the Diddy doc, which I was surprised to see Eric Sermon on, but
yeah,
he had his little brush with that as well. But yeah, dude, Eric Sermon, name that outlasted EPMD. I feel like he's on the Mount Rushmore or close to it. And yeah, I mean, this is somebody I feel like it's a rappers fans group. Like this is one of those where if you know, you know. It's not like the casual fan's going to know a lot of EPMD songs like myself, but the shit is fire. The beats are so good.
2 tracks with Redman and a cameo with LL. Eric Sermon is a part of the Def Squad. It's him, Redman, and Keith Murray, and it's a friendship that still goes on to this day. I don't know about Keith Murray so much; he's kind of went off the rails. But yeah, man, business as usual. I added probably like half of this. I know Hardcore, Rampage, and Brothers on My Jock, the ones with Redman and LL. Manslaughter's dope, and Mr. Bozak.
The Hardcore was the one that, and obviously Redman's the one on that. So that was my favorite off of this, but Gold Digger's good. And there's one near the end that I think it's Hit Squad Heist, but yeah, I was pleasantly surprised about the beats on this. Every one of I didn't turn any songs, which is saying something.
In 1992, Leap of Faith premieres. Fake faith healer Jonas Nightingale is stranded in a small town where he finds he can't fool all the people all the time. Directed by Richard Pierce, starring Steve Martin, Deborah Winger, Lolita Davidovich, Liam Neeson, and Lucas Haas.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman, Steve.
Philip Seymour.
If you miss him, he's in the band. But yeah, I remember. You know what I remember this from the '90s? The cover of the tape, because this was when you went to Video Connection.
Yeah,
pass it. And I watched it. My parents. This was right down their alley. It's got some religious stuff in it. It's got Steve Martin in it. It's got a nice little message at the end. So I had to watch this as a kid, and I wasn't a fan. But as an adult, Steve, loving it.
Yeah, I mean, he plays a good grifter. Yeah. He's one of those grifters.
Shows up to a little dusty, I think it's in Kansas, if I'm not mistaken, but he's like an evangelical preacher that I guess just has a bus tour that will stop anywhere that they can smell some saps, basically.
Yeah. And he got over on them until the people got wising up, but he found a way to flip that. He's just like, I have a pass. Who doesn't have a pass? But through the Lord, through God, I found my way.
I used to smoke weed with jazz singers, and now I'm walking that straight path. Yeah, so he flips that. Liam Neeson's trying to always it's funny to see Liam Neeson in this too. It's just not a Liam. Now we know Liam Neeson as this old badass guy or racist.
Yeah.
But in this, he's just a quaint old farmer guy who's just onto this dude. But yeah, Steve Martin, slick, talk his way out of anything. His whole team's got his back. It's like a team of con artists almost. And but then they're making miracles happen basically to fool these people, but then miracles just kind of start happening, Steve.
When he started keeping it real.
Yeah. He starts seeing the error of his ways. He's starting to get it in with all these people. We've seen this movie before, not quite this, but there's a lot of movies where a con artist will insert himself into a normal place to hide. and then in so doing becomes a good person. I think Sinbad did that. I think Tim Allen did that at one point as an Amish person. So I've seen this movie, but I like how it pans out at the
Steve
end.
Martin. Steve Martin literally does this again in My Blue Heaven. He literally like he's under witness protection. He goes to a small town. He gets over on Rick Moranis, who gets bullied. I mean, on par with the Rick Moranis role, and throughout being a bad bully guy for an hour, he's like, you know what? He tames himself. So yeah, man.
That's funny. But I mean, that's kind of typical of Hollywood too. Once they see something works, they got to let's squeeze that lemon a couple of times and get all that juice out. But, I love this. And then, he gets in with all these people, starts like having actual relationships, seeing that he's doing something wrong, and obviously has that going for him. And then like near the end, there's a kid who I think it's the son of somebody that he's like started to know.
It's Deborah Winger's little brother.
Yeah, and he's on crutches. I think he was in a car accident, but the doctors don't really know like what's wrong with him. He's not like crippled. It's like a psychosomatic thing almost, I feel like. And I think that's what it is. Regardless, he's walking around. Everybody sees him walking around on these crutches. He can't really move that much. But near the end, he actually like has this weird moment where he starts walking like during a service, and even like snaps Steve Martin almost, where it's like his grift keeps working even though he doesn't want it to work anymore, to the point where I think the kid, after he's like done, he's done it and he's like, everybody sees it, he wants to go with Steve Martin on the road, but Steve Martin at this point is already like done. He's like checked out. He feels terrible about all this. And I think he even tells the kid, he's like, dude, I run a show, man. Like, this is all smoke and mirrors. Like, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But this whole town, so this all happens. This whole town's like a dusty farm town that never gets rain. Steve Martin leaves town at the end, leaves all this good that he's done in the past. He's done being a grifter, hops in a truck and like a semi, skips town. And as he's leaving, Steve, it starts raining. One more miracle till he leaves,
And then it ends. 1992, 8 minutes on Leap of Faith. 1992, Toys premieres when Lieutenant General Leland Zavo inherits a toy making company and begins making war toys. His employees band together to stop him before he ruins the name of Zevo Toys forever. Directed by Barry Levinson, starring Robin Williams, Michael Gambon, Joan Cusack, Robin Wright, and LL again.
LL, who's related to Robin Williams in this movie in this weird way.
Yeah.
But no, I love this movie. This is a strange, almost, I feel like psychedelic movie in a way. It's very Kubrickian mixed with a little 90s
kind of Burton-ish.
You know what I'm talking about.
Burton.
Yeah, it's got a little Tim Burton, a little, so definitely. I'm surprised this wasn't directed by Tim Burton, honestly. It's seriously that weird. But yeah, I love it. It's the story's strange, but it's basically good versus evil. It's as simple as you can get, Steve, in a toy factory.
Yeah, man. Maybe Robin Williams is the perfect person to have in a movie come Christmas time. We just talked about him in Hook last week. And also, this is the film debut of Jamie Foxx. Another blink and you miss it.
No crap.
He plays one of the I wouldn't say henchmen.
He's like the military toy section. So like whatever he's a toy soldier.
Yeah.
To use that terminology.
And ironically, years later, in Any Given Sunday, he would be having a spat with LL Cool J. I don't know if you heard that story, but yeah, man, Willie Beeman and LL, like they had a butting of heads, if you will.
Hey man, this ain't real, man. Yeah, hell yeah. But the style of this, it's got a style. The story's crazy. This old, like, almost like a Willy Wonka type dude dies. And that guy, his name's like Zevo. The toy company's name is Zevo Toys, and Robin Williams and his sister are left. But then we find out, you think Robin Williams would get it, but then I guess the owner who died, he had a brother, and the brother was in the military, and he actually gives the company to his brother, even though the brother doesn't want it. So at the beginning, there's all this weirdness. There's this military guy who's very generally, he brings on LL. They try to run the company, but then they start like skewing towards doing like military toys and like killer toys, which isn't something that Robin Williams and his dad would have liked. And then to go even further, the general guy starts making like weaponized toys, basically.
Yeah. Like Joker style toys, man. And I forgot to mention the old general was played by our guy Jack Wharton. Bring on the horse.
That is that guy, dude.
Oh, I love it.
But yeah, at some point, Robin Williams decides to basically, they split the company. So there's like a section of it that's just like private. Nobody can get into it other than the general and like his people. So there's toy people. And then there's like LL Cool J, who has like this cool leather soldier outfit with like a, whatever you call it, like the French hat. And,
Ray.
yeah, there you go. And Robin Williams starts trying to take the control of the company. It comes to a head. The general has been actually, they go into like a room, and Robin Williams, which is kind of crazy that this was made so long ago, but he walks into a room and these like kids are killing people with drones, and it looks like a video game. So when he sees that, he decides to go up against his dad's brother, and there's like a war of military toys and toys, like these old toys that everybody thinks are just like shitty toys, which I think is hilarious. And I always thought the coolest part of this is that you watch this whole movie and Joan Cusack is supposed to be Robin Williams' brother, but at the end you find out she was a robot.
His brother?
Or I mean his sister, not his brother. I was
like,
thinking John Cusack and not Joan, but she's been walking around. She acts weird, but this whole place is weird, so you don't really think anything of it. But at the end, she like saves Robin Williams, and you find out she was a robot this whole time.
Yeah. That's why she was moving awkward and looking weirder than usual for Joan Cusack. But yeah, man, a lot of greatness to be had.
Did you watch this movie as a kid though, Steve?
I didn't. I always wanted to. It was never available. I remember like it was at HBO or Showtime. They had their promotion for it, and I didn't have access to it. So it was one of those things where it's like, one of these days I'm chasing the carrot. And here we are, toys.
20 some years later, Steve. 30 some years later.
Yeah, we're old. But somebody who probably didn't watch Toys or Leap of Faith in 1992, Matthew? Probably American game show producer Mark Goodson. This is the man that gave us Family Feud and Price is Right.
Dang. How rich you think that guy was? You know? I hope so. But Price is Right?
Yeah.
Just that alone, like he's still getting paid off that.
There's a state. Yeah, we lost him at 77, man. He was born in 1915 in Sacramento, California.
How do you come up with a game show? Is it a drug thing where you're like, we get a wheel that spins, it has money on it, and people do guest stuff? Yeah.
Big ass wheel.
We need a hot chick, though. She's gonna video letters. Cars. Are you my mom?
Yeah, man. A big ass wheel with numbers on it. All right. They're going to spin that motherfucker. Oop, I made a snafu.
Boop.
But yeah, man. Shout out to Mark Goodson. That following year, 1993, Ren and Stimpy is airing season 3, episode 3, Ren's Pecs and an Abe Divided. Ren wants to get huge pectoral muscles, but he has no fat on his skinny body for the transplant. Ren and Stimpy try to get honest day's pay as security guards for the Lincoln Memorial.
And yeah, Ren, I mean, we've all been there. We want better pecs,
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't, dude? You walk on a beach and some big galoot steals all your chicks, the hairy back. It's not fun.
Freaking
But, we start off great. Ren, Stimpy, they're on the beach catching some rays. And Ren, honestly, even without the chest, just as his normal self, he's getting plenty of female attention, Steve. I'm not mad at it.
got the swagger.
Yeah, but then some big galoot shows up. You can see him behind you. It's a guy, possibly on some gear, and he just basically bullies Ren out of his chicks and calls him Weenie Boy. I don't like that.
Kick sand in his face. Or no, he told him it wasn't sand I was kicking in your face.
Check this out
Yeah.
later. Which I guess is Stimpy's, but I was like, where'd this guy just get a litter box like this?
Yeah, super Edward G. Robinson looking. And now he's got Ren crying. You know what I'm saying? They're like, man, he punked me in front of my hoes.
Yeah, I wish I had muscles, specifically pectorals. Like I said, Ren, we've all been there. I wanted some big pectoral muscles too. So maybe if you say it enough, something will happen. And in this case, Steve, it does. He says pectoral muscles, and all of a sudden this strapping fellow just comes out of the water. It's none other than Charles Globe.
Not that Charles Globe.
Yeah, that Charles Globe, Steve. Pecs for days. And he's here to educate Ren and Stimpy just about just large pectoral muscles in general, just in how to get them, basically.
And if you have pecs, no one will ever punk you again. Oh, I need to work out. Well, work out? I've never worked out a day in my life. All you do is remove the fat cells from one part and inject them into your pectoroid.
Worked wonders for me. I also love like how sad Ren is when he brings it up. He's like, I'm too feeble to work out. He's so sad. But Ren's got the cure, Steve, and he's amazed. And as quickly as he becomes elated, he then just becomes flat out sad because he realizes he has no fat on his body. There's nothing to take.
Yeah.
He's a little chihuahua.
But his buddy Stimpy steps in. He's like, I got some fat cells you could remove. I got enough to lend. Also, I'm a card-carrying professional fat donor.
And he's caked up, Steve. He's got more than enough dump truck just to take a little off the top and give it to Ren. So he's happy to. So we cut to the hospital. Ren and Stimpy, they're on the table. They're waiting for the procedure to get started. Ren tries to tell Stimpy to save and then he just passes out from the gas.
Yeah. They put him under and they perform the surgery. It takes several scalpels to make this happen. Like they're just sticking Ren. And then after that, they take like scoops. It looks like ice cream, but it's supposed to be something else. And they're just throwing it into
that's ass fat, Steve.
That's the ass
fat. Yeah.
That's right.
So it is like a real rough shot, like Civil War era surgery. The guy's grunting a lot. It seems like he's more weightlifting than surgerying, Ren, if that's a word. But yeah, he shoves a whole lot of ass fat into that cavity. And we cut to after surgery. I don't know when this was. Obviously, some time has elapsed because Ren and Stimpy are both just covered in bandages.
Yeah. And when they pull him off, Stimpy looks the same, except for this huge graft taken out of his ass. And then they remove the bandages from Ren. And man, is that Ren Luger?
Yeah, is that Ultimate Ren or I don't know.
Macho Ren, Randy Savage,
Ren Rude. Okay, there we go. I think we got it. But he's tittied out, Steve. These things are tittied and committed because they move independently. He's got a little Terry Crews thing going on, but in a different way, in a more alarming way, really scary.
And you gonna sit down when you pee. Yeah, that's the kind of timing he's on now. Like, man, I can't wait to go back and see. I hope that bully comes in here again. Oh, big Barkley head ass boy. Come on. Like talking about,
Hairy back ass.
yeah, Harry O. But then he returns to the beach, and then the bully's there. He's like, look at Mosquito Man.
Hey, weenie boy. I like he remembered this, but Ren's like, cool, dude. Check this out. And just his titties yeet this dude. He don't even have to do nothing.
Titty slammed him.
Jean-Claude Van Titty over here, just fully. He's like that guy in Kickboxer. You remember that guy, the Asian dude with the titties? You know what I'm talking about, the big chest dude.
Is that
Kickboxer.
kickboxer or blood sport?
It might be Bloodsport. It might be both, Steve. You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. Everybody, shout out to the guy with the tits.
You got to do
He has, he has a tongue po. No, is that it? I don't know.
It's something like that. I don't want to be disrespectful. But.
Yeah, I apologize. But yeah, the surgically enhanced titties, you might as well have a gun, Steve. So he beats that guy up, yeets him into the ocean with the breasts, and then he finds a couple of tenderonis and just decides to go about his way, but leaves Stimpy just sort of in the back with his just messed up ass. You know, and
Yes.
Stimpy's kind of sad, but he's like, I don't want to slow you down, friend.
Get out of here, Ren. Finally, Ren can be happy. And he goes off in the sunset with some bad ones.
And a shirt that Stimpy knitted for him, a muscle shirt, Steve, which fits those pecs perfectly. So clearly he's been paying attention.
We find out that he went on to do action movies. He did a little modeling. He's walking red carpets. Now he even has a rooftop beach.
Dude, he was in Playgirl. He was in all of it, dude. Burt Reynoldsing it. And he's having like a cocktail at his palatial estate after all the success, after all the hotties, numerous. And some guy serves him a drink with the straw not facing the right way, first off. So he almost gets fired. But then we see that Stimpy actually has just gotten a job and Ren doesn't even recognize him. Isn't that true? Isn't that Hollywood for you, Steve? Don't ever get too big for me, bud. Don't get some big pecs and leave me. Okay?
Never.
Thank you.
Man. Have I seen you before? Get back to work.
And Stimpy's just happy that his friend's happy. That's a good friend, Steve.
That's a real one. That's a day one. And now we're at Abe Divided. And they're in DC now. They're digging through trash cans. They even see an old ribeye flock with maggots. But the tasty kind of maggots.
Yeah. Ren eats the whole thing. Stimpy, he just gets to lick the paper it was on. But as always with Stimpy, just licking some paper, we find an opportunity because Ren, it's sort of like that. Remember when we were a kid, that silly putty, you could put it on the newspaper and it pulls the newspaper off of it. That's what happens to Stimpy's tongue. And they find a new job opportunity where I first you think they're going to join the Secret Service, Steve. They got to protect the president.
Yeah. But then they go to turn in their application, I guess. And the person in the office is Sergeant Big Butt. And for whatever reason, the man's a cross-dresser.
And he's all up in their ass, Steve. Sorry, excuse the French, but I've had some interviews like this, but this guy's on another level. He seems to be on some gear. He's raging, and he's wearing a dress of some kind. So his nuts hanging out, full view, but they get the job. I don't even know how, because it doesn't seem to go well, but I guess the guy just needs some bodies, you know?
Yeah. And, they go through their little hazing. I guess that's all that's needed.
Yeah, just a little towel slap to the ass, Steve, because that's what happens if you mess up. A nice little towel slap to the booty.
What was the other Ren Stimpy that we covered? Skinny slapping. They go
in
from
slapping. Yeah, that's a different thing. That's when you're out in the woods and some old hobo comes out of nowhere naked and just starts skinny whatevering you. And yeah, a lot of slapping of the booty here. It's almost like sports in a way, but yeah. So they got a couple of new welts on their butt. They show up at this memorial, and the job description was kind of like unclear because they're not like watching the president, clear and present danger style. They're cleaning the president, as in a statue of Abe Lincoln.
Yeah. You must scrub every piece of dirt on the president. And then they do a close-up of some pigeons on Abe's shoulder smoking a cigarette. Like they're talking like some wise guys. Hey, you's over here. We over here, over there.
Let me take a dump over here.
And
So they got to deal with that. They also just got to, deal with the same stupidity they always do. Ren's not happy about the job, but Stimpy's super stoked because he thinks this is a statue of Santa Claus.
yeah,
But then Ren's like, "This is a memorial, stupid. Like that's not Santa." So now Stimpy thinks Santa's dead, which leads to a whole thing, and that's hilarious. But Ren's stupid as hell too because he thinks it's not Abe Lincoln, it's Willard P. Fillmore. I think is who he says it is.
yeah.
You ain't got to know who it is to wipe it down, Steve. So it is what it is. But later, as they're just wiping Abe down, and that sounds strange, so pause on that. Ren sort of hears like this old man telling his grandson this story about how Abe Lincoln's head's supposedly filled with treasure. So Ren loves a come up, Steve.
Immediately, he's daydreaming about driving in a drop top full of baddies. It's like, oh yes, we could make this a reality. It is.
So immediately, this place is open. They close the joint down, get everybody out immediately. Stimpy's like, dude, we're supposed to be open 18 more hours. And Ren's like, shut up, dude. Let's do this. So now you got to get inside the head. They're looking up. They're thinking to themselves, how do we do this? So Ren's first idea is just to try to go up Abe's nose canal. Tries to get stuck.
Yeah, and while that's happening, Ren sees this button for picking Abe's nose. I guess he can do a little trick where you push the button and his hand raises and puts his finger in his nose. So so that mashes Ren into the nose, and then he gets picked out like a wad of gum, and he's placed under the seat with the other dead soldiers.
Yeah, there's a lot of dead Boy Scouts in there that I guess have tried the same thing, Steve. There's many deaths. Then we go to take two, and at this point, they don't even try anything crafty. They're just, Ren's like, saw this thing off. Let's get this head off this body and just go. We got to get it down to the ground. So they do that. And as they're doing it, Stimpy's like, I think I know what's in this. And Stimpy's completely convinced that there's caramel corn in the head. Which, hey, I mean, I love a good caramel corn, Steve. Why not?
And Ren, he's focused on getting his head off. He's like, whatever you do, don't drop the oops. And then it just cracks, falls on the ground and cracks.
Yeah, that's not good. The cross-dressing dude's going to really be angry about that. And Ren's like, whatever. Let's see where this treasure is. He's looking around. He can't really see anything. And then he sees like some sparkling coming out of like the skull part. Goes over. He's thinking there's going to be some money or, some. Maybe a free lifetime card to Subway. Caramel corn, Steve. Who knew? Stimpy, he knew the whole time. I don't know how he figured that one out.
Now Abe's missing his head, though. So Stimpy, he makes a Santa's head. And then I think that's supposed to be Fidel Castro that he makes.
Yeah, for sure. Fidel. So he makes it, kills it, because Stimpy's like that, or Ren's like, that's not right. So he'll knock it down, rebuild it. Fidel, wrong, hits it again. And instead of breaking into pieces, it's just dust. I mean, you can't do anything with it, Steve, except snort it. And they don't do that. But they're stuck with a statue that has no head. What are you going to do?
So they have to hit a pivot. And they come to the idea of, hey, man, let's just make his face out of sausages. So they do just that. It kind of looks like Abe Lincoln's face made of sausages. And now we come back to the pigeons, and they're about to kill another pigeon. Like, hand over the nuts and we'll murderize you. So, then they notice the face full of sausages, and then they make a beeline over there, destroying the face all over again. So Abe is again headless. So Stimpy drops a penny in it.
Nothing. And then the only thing that they got left, they can't make it out of stone, but what do they got? A dumpster. And Stimpy's kind of an artist. He fancies himself an artist. He paints Abe Lincoln's face on the front of the dumpster. Cool. Still needs a little hair. Problem solved. Set that bitch on fire. And honestly, I'm going to see a statue. If it's got a flaming head, I mean, I'll take a look. This might be some kind of statement on the like society, but I'm into it, Steve. I like it. Improvement.
But after the fire in the dumpster, we see a bum appear, and he was in there the whole time. He's just like, man, I've been looking to redecorate. So he takes off with the dumpster. We're back to no Abe Lincoln head again.
Yeah, and then they just have to pray that the spirit of Honest Abe will help them. And he shows up, and he's like, "I'm not going to help you," and starts whooping their ass. And that's it, Steve. And then the next morning, it's time for a little come to Jesus moment with the cross-dressing boss. And I think Ren and Stimpy might not have a job, but we hear that guy at the end, and he's like a chicken in every garage, mom's apple pie, and nipples and butter in my ass. I don't know what the last thing he said was, but
it was some low key freaky.
Abe would have been proud. I think so.
And Abe, he's back together again, but this time Ren and Stimpy, they make up the head.
Beautiful. Another weird episode of Ren and Stimpy. But I like Ren just getting some sniz in that first one, Steve.
It's rare that an episode of Ren and Stimpy ends on a good note. Like, things are good for Ren. At least for Ren. Yeah.
And it's good for Stimpy. He's living the dream. He's living his dream, which is just to watch his friend love his life. Which is there something more friendly than that? That's great. Shout out to Stimpy.
Stimpy's a pleaser. But that following year, 1994, Life with Louie premieres on Fox. 3 seasons, 39 episodes.
Louie. Great. I mean, it's not one of my favorite cartoons, but I love Life with Louie. Fox killed it. And I also remember do you remember that there was another cartoon that ran parallel to this called Camp Candy, Steve?
I totally do, on NBC.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was planned or they were trying to compete with like similar shows, but Life with Louie was my preferred show of those two, and gave me a love of Louis Anderson that I, probably wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, man. And there's some other, like Debbie Duryberry. I think she was the mom from Bobby's World, and she's been in other stuff. Edie McClurg, that is a voice actor that's been used a lot. I think she was the secretary in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She has quite a few credits in like straight up acting, but man, she's been used a lot in those early 90s Disney cartoons like Darkwing Duck. I think she was a voice on DuckTales. She was a voice on Goof Troop, but shout out to Edie McClurg, man.
Oh, also another like sort of 90s legend child star, Miko Hughes had a voice in this as well, and I didn't know he was in this.
Boys have penises, girls have
vagina. He's in this. He is he's Tommy Anderson, who's Louie's youngest brother.
Nice. That's another child actor. He got away clean. He escaped. He made it out. Never heard any smut. Shout out to Miko Hughes.
And he has got a cool name. He's just he seems like, you did it, dude. Congrats.
One day I want to smoke a joint with Miko Hughes, man. Yeah, tell me about Michelle Tanner. But 1996, Marvin's Room premieres. After 17 years, a fiercely independent woman and her rebellious son return home, and together they turn the family she left behind upside down. Directed by Jerry Zaks, starring Meryl Streep, Leonardo DiCaprio, Diane Keaton, and Robert De Niro.
Yeah, I did not like this movie as a kid, Steve. I remember this was another parental, it was in the periphery. But watching it as an adult, I think it's a good movie. It's got its moments of happiness and sadness. It's a drama. And then for me, I just triggering for me in a good way, just because it's
personal.
It's a personal thing, but Diane Keaton's character, Bessie, like in this part of the story, is she gets leukemia, which I think in the story her mother died of that as well, but she actually gets a bone marrow transplant, which was what I got to get rid of my cancer. So for me, there was part of this that actually like really hit home for me as an adult. Just real quick, shout out to bethematch.org, who helped save my life and helps people get bone marrow transplants. So, but filled with stars, a very young Leo DiCaprio who plays sort of like a wild child who's in a mental institution. Not really because he's crazy. He just like misbehaves, and he just is kind of he's a problem child. But the person who in this movie kind of I found really entertaining is Robert De Niro, who plays a doctor. He diagnoses Diane Keaton. He's their family doctor. But when you watch this, Steven, I know you didn't get a chance to. It's funny. He's almost as big of a bumbling goof in this as he is in Jackie Brown. He plays a doctor, but he's like sort of like clumsy, and he's not. He just doesn't seem like a good doctor, other than having good bedside manner. But yeah, man, very like powerful movie. It's just about family, love, getting over like little family fights and taking ownership and taking care of the people that you love the most. And yeah, it's a really powerful movie. I think it probably won a lot of awards, and if not, there's just a lot of huge stars in it for a drama like this. And it's personal to me. I enjoyed it.
And that following year, 1997, Seinfeld is airing season 9, episode 10, The Strike. Frank revives Festivus, his Christmas alternative. George invents a charity. Kramer ends his bagel shop strike, and Elaine pursues a free sandwich. Hilarity ensues.
As always. And right away, I mean, we get to see one of the people we've met in these Seinfelds, Tim Watley, newly Jewish.
Yeah.
Celebrating Hanukkah, and the whole gang's here, or at least most of them. Jerry, George, and Elaine. And Elaine's getting her fake number set because she's getting the eyes from this other dude at the party that we're just going to call Denim Guy.
You know his real name?
Well, who is it?
They have him credited as Steve. They said Denim Vest, but in parentheses it says Steve. So
Steve. Well, yeah. Steve is played by Kevin McDonald from Kids in the Hall, who's one of the funniest people from that show, and is an odd-looking dude.
He is,
especially in denim.
Perfect for a cameo. Like they really like those oddball kind of cameos from time to time.
I like when she's like, "Oh, I like those metal buttons," and he's like, "Those aren't buttons; those are snaps."
And while that's happening, Jerry he chats it up with a chick, and they make it really easy.
I mean, she's looking sexy in it, and they just strike it up. So Jerry, he's enjoying himself. He's getting some digits.
And then back to Elaine, it looks even easier because the guy, Steve Denim Vest, he's just like, maybe we should go out sometime. This is after only talking to her for 30 seconds. It's like, you know what? Why don't I give you my phone number?
She's got that. And I forget what she says the fake number is. It's got too many digits, but she's got it. This is her plan, Steve. I feel like all women actually have this and probably need to.
Oh, I know.
But
I've been on the receiving end of those fake numbers.
Yeah.
More than I'd like.
Man, I can't wait to call her. I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to do it tomorrow morning. You call tomorrow morning. Boo-doo-doo.
You dirty bitch.
It never happened to me, but I remember for a while there was like a fake number where you called it and it had like a shitty message that it was just like that number to call. So I never got that, but yeah, I don't think Denim Vest is going to be getting laid anytime soon, Steve.
He doesn't deserve it. Look at him. And then now we cut to Jerry and George. They're at Monk's. And I guess Jerry or George, he called in sick.
Yeah, he ate too many kosher cocktail weenies at that party. So he had a little stomach ache. But he pulls a card out.
You're like cutting out, bro. My guy's frozen now.
I'm back. That's not my fault. That's the internet. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So George gets his gift from Tim in a card. He's just given Tim Yankees tickets, expecting the moon. What does he get? A charitable donation, Steve. And he's furious.
He can't get jiggy to this.
I can't get jiggy to this shit.
Yeah. He gave his gift. He basically gave his gift to a child's organization. It's like, I didn't ask for this.
He gave my gift to somebody else. This is one of the best George episodes because he gets so pissed off in this. So it's starting now. The fire's building.
Oh,
and
man.
as he's getting mad, Jerry sort of like offhand mentions Festivus, but George is like, "Shut up, Jerry!" Like he doesn't want to even hear about it.
Well, when they mention that, Elaine, she's there by this time, and she lets the guys know that, man, I got 24 stamps. She needs 24 stamps, I guess, and she gets a free sandwich. So Elaine is elated. Man, I'm one punch, I'm one stamp away from getting this free sandwich.
Yeah, but they're like, isn't that hoagie shop shitty? She's like, yeah, but still, free sandwich. I put in all this effort.
And that's when I think George sees the card, and he's just like, oh. Jerry takes the card. He's like, oh, this is the Festivus. Elaine's like, what's the Festivus? And he just keeps trying to like shush him.
Shut up. George is not having it. He does not like Festivus, whatever that is. We don't really know what it is yet. He's not a fan. So then we cut to Jerry's, and Elaine wanting to get that next sandwich to compliment, to get that final punch. She's going through her pockets, and she's like, where's my shopper's card? Where is it? And she realizes that she actually, that fake number she gave to Denim Vest was written on the back of that frequent shopper's card. So all the 23 gross sandwiches that she ate, Steve, that means nothing.
Down the drain. And Kramer, he gets a call, and you don't know what's being said, but when he gets off the call, he's like, great, the strike's been settled. I'm going back to work. And they're like, what strike? I've been on strike for 12 years. H&H, they wouldn't let me use their bathroom while we were out picketing.
It's been 12 years, Steve. So he's going back to H&H, and they're like, what were you guys striking about? And he's like, we want $5.35 an hour for our wage. And I guess that was like the new minimum wage. And Kramer's like, exactly. You're welcome. Okay. I gotta hit the road. But Jerry and Elaine, as anybody who's watched Kramer on the show, they're like, this guy had a job? Because he's, right. He doesn't appear to be employed. So we cut to H&H Bagels. Kramer shows back up. He's like, oh, it's the old spot. What's up, everybody? And he shows up expecting like all of his old comrades to be at H&H. But the guy working's like, hey, what's up? And he's like, yeah, man, I'm off strike. I was expecting all my buddies to be here. Where are they at? And the guy's like, well, I was assumed that they got other jobs after 12 years, but you're the only one that showed up. So he's like, you know what? I need some holiday help. You can work for us. And it doesn't look like it's going to go good because Kramer like instantly looks at a raisin bagel, and the guy's like, he's like, what is this? He's like, that's a raisin bagel. And he's like, never thought I'd see the day. Like it's this new, it's like alien technology.
This novel idea, this raisin, this bagel. And now we're at the horse track betting place, and Elaine's there. So she's talking to the guy at the booth. He's like, so you're Elaine Bennis. Mm-hmm. Hey, Charlie, look who's here. Elaine Bennis. And Charlie looks crazy.
He's taken every last hit out of the computer duster can, Steve. He's just like, he's practicing making out constantly to an invisible person that you can't see. But
he looks like Jack Black's nasty hairband brother.
I love that Elaine's fake number was to a bookie or a horse track, which is hilarious. But these guys look like to bring it to current, they look like they're in the McPoyle family from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And Elaine's like, look, guys, I'm like, this is weird. This is getting weird. So if somebody calls looking for me. She explains it. She's like, you got to tell me because I need to get this card so I can get this free sandwich. And they're like, that's fine, baby. Just give me your real number so I know so I can call you when we get it.
Yeah. You looking for a man? You know who else is a man? Charlie over here. You want to know who else is a man? I'm a man. And he's got
your number. He just has he looks like he has a pit with a woman in it at home, but Elaine thinking on her feet, she's like, well, I can't give this guy my real number. So she has to come up with another fake number to give, and she gives out H&H Bagels number. I mean, this woman just can't help herself, Steve.
We cut to Jerry. He's in the car waiting on his date. Her name is Gwen, by the way. Gwen, she pops up in the car, and immediately Jerry's like, man, this bitch.
And it is weird. Whatever they do to her, whenever they make her look weird, like there's like some like swollen mouth stuff going. It's weird.
Yeah. They basically take her makeup off.
At the party, Steve, you know?
And for a second, she's hot in the car. You know, when that street light hit, he's like, oh, okay. He's like, and then she tells the driver, like, yeah, let's go through this tunnel. They go through the tunnel. Now the light isn't showing. He's like,
so we go back to the restaurant. So he's telling George about this. And I like George, Mr. Handsome's like, seen this all the time. She's a two-face. Ugly one day, beautiful the next.
Hey, it's Shallow Hal, man.
Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, that is it. It's crazy. It's a very big difference. So we cut to Jerry's after that. And, one thing, I'm working H&H. Kramer's bringing home some merchandise. He brings over some bagels for the guys, and they start eating them. And at first he's like, yep, fresh off the table. My hand's making the dough. And they, like, spit it out. They're like, wait, your hands were in this? Because they know Kramer. And he's like, no, I didn't make those. So they start eating again. He's like, those are day olds. Even the homeless people won't eat those.
Also, something important to note, George, he created a card for the human fund. And Jerry's like, well, human fund, what does that mean? It's like, it's money for people.
Mm-hmm. So now he's got a little scam going, Steve. He's made up his own charity. This is actually a genius idea. To give people fake cards like this. I mean, we'll get to it, but I just got to give George Costanza a little credit. As somebody who likes to mess with people at my job, this is great.
He's crafty. And when Kramer tells him that they're also a day old, George is like, you know what? I'm an exit stage left. And as he leaves, Jerry's like, happy Festivus, George. It's like, ah! And then Elaine comes in. He's like, yeah, happy Festivus, George. Ah! What's Festivus? Kramer says, it's a stupid holiday. It's a stupid holiday that doesn't exist. And Frank, oh yeah. So he leaves, and Kramer's like, Frank made a holiday? That's so prolific.
He admires him. And Elaine tells Kramer about, giving her number to this guy. So she's like, look, any guy calls H&H, tell me. You got to give me the heads up. So cut to H&H. Frank shows up because Kramer has to know about Festivus. He's like, you got to give me this lowdown. I'm hearing about it. You got to tell me about it. So he wants the lowdown on the origins, and Frank basically breaks it down, Steve.
Many Christmases ago, went to buy a doll for my son. And another guy, he comes in and takes the same doll I was looking at. As I rained blows on him, I thought there was another way. And then out of that, a new holiday was born. Festivus for the rest of us.
As I rained blows on him. That's great. Yeah, and it's got some some cool traditions. At dinner, you tell your family how much they've disappointed you this year, which is great. And there's no tree just because Frank gets distracted by tinsel. So it's a very convenient holiday as well, Steve. You don't got to buy a lot. There's not a lot of trats and trimmings. And Kramer's all in. He loves a new holiday. He wants to celebrate Festivus. And so he asked for a day off from his old boss or his new boss or whatever at H&H. And the guy's like, look, man, I hired you to be working on the holiday. Like, you can't take this day off. And he's like, you're infringing on my right to celebrate a holiday. Festivus. I'm on strike. Strike. And he's back on strike, Steve. Kramer's back on the picket lines.
Yeah, man, before we get to that, man, we cut to George for a real quick second. He's giving out cards, and he did you already say that?
Well, it just keeps cutting back and forth, but instead of going back and forth, I just completed the dinner, like the Festivus explanation.
Yeah, well, we can keep going. And Jerry's date, damn it, maybe I'm fucking skipping because this is when Jerry's date gets in the car, and yeah.
So George at his job, he's giving out cards to a fake charity, thinking nobody's going to look into it. It just seems like he's giving charitable donations for everybody in the building to this. So that started. In that taxi, like you said, this chick Jerry's going out with, I mean, it's like a straight up, it is Two-Face in a weird magical way, because when they're going through the lights, it's night and day, Steve. It's psychologically kind of freaky. So she's a switcher, and I think Jerry's even like, she's like a 3D baseball card. One of those where you flip it around and it changes depending on the angle. So it's terrifying, Steve.
And yeah, back to talking to George again, he's like, man, you know what though? She does look good in that booth. And Frank and Kramer, they show up. Frank's got his aluminum pole, and they're giving out invitations like, hey, everyone's invited to the Festivus dinner. And Frank pulls out this tape recorder. He plays this old tape of one of the earlier Festivus in George's life, and it's time for the Festivus feats of strength. And then you hear little George crying.
I don't want it. You're weak.
You can. What is it?
He's weak, Steve. And George, he can't take it. He just storms out. Frank and Kramer meet Two-Face, the lady. They're like, oh. But Jerry's like, hey, back booth just opened up. There's one booth in this whole restaurant where she looks good. So he's like, let's just pop over to that back booth real quick. Get into that real overhead lighting so I can get he's a nice look. So he's got it all figured out, Steve. All he has to do is keep this woman in the back booth at this diner, and he's good, which is not really something that is sustainable. But you know what? It's working for him right now.
And Frank, he leaves. He's like, yeah, I got to go get the aluminum pole. Oh, no. Man, this is such a hard sitcom to stay on track with, man.
It is. That's why I try when I'm doing the notes to just complete a story part instead of being like, and then we cut back to this, and then we cut back to this.
It's a good habit.
But at so we go from Two-Face diner grimy to H&H, and Elaine is literally just sitting there waiting for this call. That sandwich is so important to her. She just has to wait to know where this card is. And she gets a call, and it's Kramer. He's like, look, man, you got to get out of there. Sabotage the place. I'm on strike. And as she's like, where are you at? And he's literally like right outside. She's even like, oh, hey, what's up? But as she's talking to him, like we see a steam pipe break. So Kramer's plan is working. But the guys that are working there, they're not even fazed by it. The guy's like, oh, it's broken. Like, what are we going to do? And the guy's like, just keep making bagels. They're just going to be kind of steamy. That's it.
And then we go back to George's job, and this is when he gives the donation. Mr. Kruger gives George a donation for the human fund, and he's kind of taken aback, like, man, oh, thanks, man. Damn, this is really a thing. He gave me some real money. This is a real check.
Yeah, it's a check for $20,000 too. So this is straight up fraud at this point. Like that's a large amount of money. But George isn't fessing up yet. He's just got a check for 20 G's in his pocket, figuring out what to do. So we cut to the diner again. Jerry obviously has Two-Face at the diner, but she's sick of it. I mean, this must be like the fifth date or whatever. And she's just like, look, man, like we got to do something else other than this. And also, like, this soup, there's a rubber band in this soup. And he's like, this is great. And also, the rubber band, that's just Paco, babe.
Yeah.
Paco. Like, he's totally cool with it.
And George shows up. At this point, Gwen is like, you know what? I'm out of here. He sits down where she was at and he starts eating some of the soup. He's like, oh, yeah, rubber band. Hey, Paco.
So, and George shows Jerry that charity check. And he's like, I think I'm going to start my own charity, man. I think I could do it. I'm going to do some good in this world. I got 20 G's to do it. So he's trying to figure this out, Steve, and I'd be doing the same thing.
I want to give back. And Jerry's like, why don't you give back the 20,000? Now we're at a strike, and it's really just Kramer having this strike. Yes, bagels. Festivus, yes. Bagels, no. And Elaine, we also see that her makeup is running. So now she's the ugly chick.
Well, because she's been in a steam, it's basically a schwitz in the bagel shop. She's steamed to the gills, and she looks like she's been crying. Everything's running. Her hair's down. She is the ugly chick. But speaking of ugly, Kramer, as he's standing outside, he sees Two-Face, and she's like, "We've met. Like, I'm Jerry's girl." And he's like, "I've seen Jerry's girl. You're not that. Okay.
You're much better looking than her."
And then Elaine, speaking of that ugly chick, she sees Denim Vest. That's out of nowhere, and he feels the same way that Jerry does when he sees Two-Face on a bad day, because he's like, "Oh, you look way different than at Tim's." Yeah. She's like, "Look, man, I know I look weird." She doesn't explain everything, but she's like, "Can you give me your number or something?" So he gives her a fake number, Steve. She got fake numbered.
She realizes that it's the same number on that moving truck across the street, and
that's great.
Then we back to George's job, and Mr. Kroger finds out there's no such thing as a human fund. Well, it could be, but there isn't. Look, Mr. Kroger, I can give you the money back. Look, man, you better have an explanation of why you gave me that fake gift. Look, it's because I don't celebrate Christmas, and I didn't want to feel excluded. It's because I celebrate Festivus. It's real.
I just didn't want to get persecuted for my beliefs. And he's like, "Dude, if you don't believe me, straight, I can prove it." And he can. Because he brings that boss over to the festivities at Frank's, and everybody's there, Steve. It's the majesty of Festivus.
This is a surprise. Who's the suit? So, yeah, he tells him, it's his boss, Mr. Kroger. And he asks, have you seen the pole?
Aluminum. Nothing's knocking this thing down. And I like Kramer shows up with those two crazy looking dudes from the dog track or the horse track or whatever. And they're looking even more. I think the uglier guy, he might be in the midst of a K-hole or so. He looks like he's on ecstasy because he's
very sensual.
He's doing a lot with his mouth and lips and his tongue, kind of in an LL way, but more like it just looks weird. It looks like he's sucking a ghost D, but.
And he's eyeballing the hell out of Elaine.
Yeah, he want dinner. But step one in Festivus festivities, Steve, it's the customary airing of the grievances.
Yeah. First, I want to start off with you, Kroger. My son tells me your company stinks. You couldn't smooth a silk sheet if you had a hot date with the babe. Lost my train of thought.
Two-Face shows up in the midst of all this craziness, and she's furious, Steve. She thinks Elaine is somehow this ugly chick that Kramer was talking about. So I think she thinks Jerry's cheating on her with Elaine.
Yeah.
She's like, "You're the ugly chick?" So Elaine's like, "What the hell, man?"
I'm gonna schwitz.
But yeah, so Elaine looks like a drowned rat. She just got called the ugly chick. Jerry's down a chick, even if she has two faces.
Yeah, because he follows her. She storms off. He follows her, and then you hear him. He comes back. Oh, that lighting!
That lighting on the porch, Jesus. So Kramer, he has to leave, man. He has to go back to work. And they're like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, man, I caved on the strike. I had to use the bathroom really bad. So you know what? I just gave in. So that's it. He leaves. As the show sort of ends, this like before we get to the credits, it's almost like every Christmas show where you cut to the outside of the house and you kind of like hear all the rumblings inside. But this is not the Christmas rumblings. This is George and his dad about to start the feats of strength, Steve, the Festivus feats of strength, which we heard George previously on the tape. He's weak, you know.
Let's rumble.
And at the end, after the credits, Kramer's making bagels at H&H, and he's chewing a big old gobber of gum, like a John Kruk level of gum or whatever that guy from the Phillies was, and he just drops it in the dough, which is my kind of nightmare about going to restaurants in general. Yeah. He's trying to get it out, he can't, and his boss just sees it. He's like, "Dude, you're fired." And he couldn't be happier. He likes unemployment, you know.
Finally. Yeah, man. Great Seinfeld. This is very apropos for an holiday episode of this show. They did it well, man.
Fantastic.
But man, you know somebody who probably didn't watch this in 97, Matt. I know you know. This time around, I give you a pass, but this time I know who didn't see this in 97, Matt. Just think.
Steve, I don't.
I'm not going, no. I need you to think about this, Matt, because and it's going to break your heart when you find out you don't know. You better know this. 97. Think hard, Matt. Think hard.
I don't.
It's late 97. We're freshmen in high school. It's a week before Christmas. And somebody that we are both huge fans of, Matt. Huge fans.
Biggie? I don't know.
Oh, man. Holy shnikes. We would lose American comedian and actor Christopher Farley.
Oh, God.
Age 33. Chris. Holy shnikes.
I don't remember the date because it affected me so bad. I blocked it out like a molestation. It was honestly, this is one of the few times a celebrity's died in my life where it literally affected me like a family member almost.
Same, man. And I'll never forget this. We were in 8th grade. This was 97, early 97. We were 8th grade, about to go to 9th grade. And Austin Fry, we're at lunch. And we're talking about Tommy Boy or Beverly Hills Ninja, one of them. And he was like, man, dude, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he dies tomorrow.
Oh, my God. Fry? The hell, dude?
You remember his sense of humor. You remember how he talked. I don't know. Yeah, man. And lo and behold, later that year, man, you know what, though? People can't say, even though we were saddened, I really wasn't shocked, man. If anyone saw that SNL episode where he hosted, maybe a month or two prior to this, man, it was sad. It wasn't the same Chris. He's stumbling over his lines. We all kind of knew. We sensed something was up. And they even spoofed it in the monologue where they were going to have a replacement host. It was going to be like maybe Chris Farley as a backup. They even brought Chevy Chase out. They even joked that Tim Meadows might have been the host. And Chris Rock's like, no. So Chris Farley, he needed assistance in the monologue with Chris Rock, man.
It is crazy, man. It is sad, like where he was at the end of it all. But man, for me as a kid, like in the 90s, Tommy Boy, Black Sheep, Beverly Hills Ninja, even Almost Heroes, dude. Anything he was in, Dirty Work, anything you could get your hands on that was Chris Farley.
Every skit.
I remember just being completely floored that he was dead, sad, and in a selfish way, Steve, mad a little bit because I was going to run out of Chris Farley impersonations that I could do as a fat kid that would make everybody else laugh. So there was that selfish part of me too. But man, what a loss. You hear about some things that they were going to try to make with him. They were planning on making
Shrek.
Shrek for one. There was a dramatic movie. I forget what it was that he was going to be in.
Fatty Arbuckle, which has there's like a myth, or I guess, I don't know, conspiracy theory behind that, because he was supposed to play Fatty Arbuckle, who was known as a comedic actor back in the day. He had some blackball stuff happen to him because of some accusations. Before Chris Farley, it was going to be John Candy, who passed away early in the game. Before John Candy, it was going to be John Belushi. All three of these guys were going to play Fatty Arbuckle.
Oh, also he was going to be the lead in Cable Guy too, which is weird to think.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, like I said, usually celebrities, it's like one of those things where it's almost like, oh man, that sucks. You know, you feel it, but it's not like you have a cousin or your family member died. And for me, Chris Farley was just like a huge part of my life, and me and my dad bonded over his movies. Me and my friends loved his movies. So, man, it sucked, man. And we were still, think of all the stuff we missed out on, man. It's such a talent.
Yeah, man. I get it, dude. Like you were probably more of a Chris Farley fan because of that personal bond, like you know, being a bigger guy. So like I feel like Chris Farley was to you what Martin Lawrence was to me. It's like, man, this dude is fly. He's funny. He's got big ears. It's okay to have big ears. So yeah, man. But that following year, 1998, The Prince of Egypt premieres. Egyptian Prince Moses learns of his identity as a Hebrew and his destiny to become the chosen deliverer of his people. Directed by Brenda Chapman and Stephen Hickner and Simon Wells, starring Val Kilmer, Ralph Fiennes, Michelle Pfeiffer, Sandra Bullock, Jeff Goldblum, Danny Glover, Patrick Stewart, Helen Mirren, Steve Martin, and Martin Short.
It's crazy.
There they go.
You know, I'm not a huge fan of this movie. If I have to watch 10 Commandments, it's the Charlton Heston joint that they used to play during Easter on like TV. I don't know why. I always love that movie.
Unhand me, you dirty damn no. Whoa.
You damn dirty Egyptian. But I mean, look at the list of stars, dude. And I remember this was like that sort of, I like this animation. This was like a style of animation they did for a few movies. And yeah, dude, like I said, when you look at the cast list of this, I'm sure it's good, but it's a biblical story, you know. It's just like, I don't know.
You can only do so much with that, man. And this movie is actually banned in Malaysia, Maldives, if I pronounce that right, and Egypt.
And any Muslim like countries at all, basically, which makes sense. I think it kind of counterintuitive to their beliefs a little bit.
You don't want to summon rescue yourself.
Exactly. But you know what, dude? Like it's hard to get people to go out to like a sort of like a religious toned movie like this, even during like an Easter time. And this movie was like pretty big. So, I mean, they overcame that a little bit. People went out and saw it. And for what it is, man, like like I said, I have my personal preferences when it comes to this story. I'm not very religious, but you know what, dude? For the kids, it's exciting, and the animation's really cool.
And on that same day, 1998, you've got male premieres. Book superstore magnate Joe Fox and independent bookshop owner Kathleen Kelly fall in love in the anonymity of the internet, both blissfully unaware that he's trying to put her out of business. Directed by Nora Ephron, starring Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, Parker Filipposi, Gene Stapleton, Dave Chappelle, Steve Zahn, and Greg Kinnear.
I forgot all these other guys were in this, Steve.
Same. Chappelle? Yeah. But you know what? He was actually offered that role. He got some assistance from Tom Hanks because Tom Hanks knew how much he regretted not taking on that Bubba Gump role. He was pretty vocal about it. Like, damn, man, I should have took that role. Tom Hanks was aware of this. It's like, you know what, man, I'll throw this guy a bone. He seems cool.
And he does well in this. I mean, this movie, honestly, you look at it, you hear the story of what it is, and you're like, what was this? Like just like a popular rental movie? But this actually got pretty big.
It did, man. Like, it did numbers. And I'm not a romantic comedy person. They make me cringe, and I just but Tom Hanks and Chappelle, that's really what kept me going through this. And I like me some Parker Filipposi.
And Steve's on
the boot.
America's number 2 in every movie, you know, second banana, but still great.
Greg Kinnear, I even like. There was a time when I thought his stuff was corny, and then I think it was that movie he did. It was that biopic of the guy from Hogan to Heroes. I was
Yeah,
like, man, this
this
Greg Kinnear's
this
pretty.
guy parties. I'm
I
into
like,
this.
yeah, man, you're into some lewd stuff. Yeah, I like that.
Hell yeah! Just don't take your clothes off in a room that he's got. But
Or maybe you
yeah.
should. No,
And you know, the story's kind of interesting. This is that time where the internet was just popping off. You've got mail, AOL, like they used that. They used technology that's now this seems like quaint, but it's a fun storytelling device. These two people who are actually competing in business, like right across the street from each other, fall in love over the internet, and they don't know that each other are, you know, who they are. And at some point, like Tom Hanks becomes aware that this woman he's talking to is this woman he's basically screwing over.
yeah,
But you know, they still fall in love, Steve.
computer love,
Hell yeah.
computer. I've been searching for some.
Tom Hanks wants some sniz. But
Shoot, you know
shout out to Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan for making it work. And honestly, dude, you got a little tenderoni out there, and you want to just watch a fun '90s movie. Throw this on, man. Get a little romancy. Why
From
not?
Matt, from this point on, can we refer to Meg Ryan as love interest? I swear, like I don't know of anybody more comfortable with their typecasting than this lady. Joe versus the Volcano, When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, You've Got Mail, and then we're gonna be talking about a movie on Christmas where she's like the cute love interest of the main character. I guess she just has that
Wasn't
look.
she? Wasn't she in Joe versus the Volcano, which
That's
is
what
also a movie with Tom
Tom
Hanks?
Hanks, yeah,
Man,
as
this
well as Sleep. That's her thing. You'll be the main character will seek after you. He's going to have a crush on you, and then by the end, he'll get you.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
her
dude.
thing.
She is that. When Harry Met Sally, even some like newer ones, she's still doing it, Steve.
That's
She's the love interest. She's
she's a,
shop girl. Now her AOL screen name would be love interest
yeah
69.
love interest, and I didn't know she was married to Randy Quaid for a while, and they have a son named Jack Quaid who was in Oppenheimer.
I think Jack Quaid is also the dude from the show The Boys.
He's been in some stuff, man. But shout out to the Quaid slash Ryans. I don't know, man. We're getting sidetracked, but dude, as I'm doing all this research, Jack Quaid, he's a part of the Quaid family, and I I just found out that old buddy, the weirder one, Randy. Or no, okay, so Randy's the weird one. She was married to Dennis, but dude, Randy's full name is Randy Randall Rudy Quaid.
Whoa. How many times can you say that? How many times? It's just a bunch of synonyms.
Pretty much, man. We got sidetracked, and I apologize, but I just came across that and I wanted to share.
That's fun.
But, man, You've Got Mail. I made it through that, man, and it's difficult. It is a task for me to sit through because I almost turned the shit off, Matt.
I get it. I mean, it's not, it's a love movie. It's a romantic comedy. It's not going to blow you away, but, for what it is, I don't hate romantic comedies, but one that has Dave Chappelle, Tom Hanks, and like Steve Zahn and stuff, I'll give it a watch every once in a while. I'm not going to turn it off. So salute to you for staying in the pocket, giving Hanks just one more view on the pile of views that he's gotten. I appreciate that, Steve. You're a gentleman.
I try, but any callbacks for this week?
Well, it's kind of been a slow day in the 90s for December 18th. I wanted to do what I did last week and just kind of give you some other like bullet points.
Give us
And
the
really what I'm finding just in terms of newsworthy stuff, we had a plane crash in Jamba, Cuando, Cubango, Angola, Steve. I don't remember that. That happened in 95. And NASA launched into orbit the Terra platform carrying 5 Earth observation instruments. So we were out there looking for aliens. And as far as some births, Steve, 1990s, You know what, dude? There's just not a lot. So, uh,
People were prepping for Christmas, man. We don't have time for
yeah,
babies to be birthed,
we
you
ain't
know.
bumping uglies like that.
Yeah, let them wait until next year.
So that's really about it. But just a great cachet. I feel like the '90s, especially early '90s in December, we're hitting a lot of just like mega hits. Steve, I forgot how big of a movie time uh, December was back in the day. Maybe still is.
Oh man! And next week, the people will definitely realize how much Christmas was bringing us some hits, man.
Merry
But
Christmas, y'all. You're about to find out.
gonna find F around FIFO. But only thing I have, Matt, is in '95, and this is something that was on the list but skipped over due to time constraints. But Alundra Blaze, who at this point she is Medusa, she dropped the belt, the women's championship from WWF into a WCW trash can. And Eric, in hindsight, you're barking up the wrong tree. The line was already drawn in the sand when you decided to go against Vince on Monday nights. And then you had Luger show up on your show, on your first show, just the day after he left Vince's company. And now this is what happens. Ho, ho, ho. This is the beginning. It's like the embers of the campfire. You think things are like settle, and like no, no, no. Somebody pour some gasoline over here, man. Just like keep an eye on that because it could pro. And just like the intro Nitro, man. Boom.
It did though. I mean, I love that the swag Eric had back. He's like, look, man, just throw that in the trash real quick.
Yeah,
He's got a little Vince in him too, Steve. He likes being petty.
I love it, man. There's an art to it, man. It's, Curtis Jackson. I feel like Vince is out petting Eric. You got Vince, you got Curtis Jackson. Throw Cameron in there. I know I'm missing some key petty.
Curtis Jackson, though, just one big salute to you for the ultimate petty of being in a beef with Diddy and then producing a documentary that solidified him just being buried and looking like an idiot.
One of the 48 laws, man. You kick them while they're down, you totally destroy them, crush them. I wish I can do a 50 and Vince impression at the same time. You crush him.
Yeah.
You crush him. Destruction. But please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister. Check out Food Show Fanatics as well as Crushgasm every Wednesday with Kendra G, our guy Clark the Shark on Podcastle, and Wrestling with Ronzilla on TikTok. This is Steve G and Matt G with
Happened in the 90s. Bam, 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 bam. Everybody 90s. Bam, 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 bam. That's all I got, Steve. Sorry.